Hi guys, welcome back to Sleeve Saturday. You know, it's about time we talked about Foreigner. One of the biggest rock bands of all time with 80 million records sold. They are an extremely important group to me. In my Induct series, I have called out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for their despicable snubs towards some of the biggest rock acts of all time. This video though guys is my most passionate plea yet. How the hell have Foreigner not been inducted yet? Remember, induction criteria is 25 years after the first album's release, so by that reckoning, Foreigner have been ready since 2002. Sure, the band's maestros Mick Jones and Lou Gramm are jointly in the Songwriters Hall of Fame, but that just does not cut it for me or go far enough. Once again, I'm calling out the snobbery at the Rock Hall and pleading the case for Foreigner. It's high time we made this happen. Formed in New York in 1976, this band have gone on to release some of the greatest rock songs and ballads in music history. Originally, for a brief moment they were called Trigger, before changing the group's name. The band's first lineup was its leaders, multi-instrumentalist and founder Mick Jones and vocalist Lou Gramm. They were flanked by drummer Dennis Elliott, guitarist Ian MacDonald, keyboardist Al Greenwood and bassist Ed Gagliardi, a mix of American and English personnel, hence the band's name. All were experienced musicians coming into the group, but as a band they had not played together before making the record. The LP, a self-titled album, was released in March 1977 and blew all expectations out of the water both the group and the label had for it. The album went platinum within a month of release. Guys, take that in. Platinum within a month. Impossible to imagine in this day and age of streams and downloads. Two of the album's 3 singles, Feels Like the First Time, written by Jones, and Cold as Ice, written by Jones and Gramm together, reached top 10 on the US chart. My pick of the bunch is the former though. Just a great rock record and showcase to a wider audience how the genius of Lou Gramm's voice transmitted. Following audiences' white-hot desire to see the band perform, they went out live on tour. Their follow-up record, Double Vision, came in the summer of '78 and wiped the floor with the first record. Another platinum LP, it clocked up sales of 7 million copies. Holy shit! Foreigner were now well-established rock stars, and man, what I would have given to see them live in concert at this point. The record peaked at number 3 on the Billboard, and 2 of its 3 singles also hit top 3, Hot Blooded and Double Vision. My pick of the bunch single-wise though was the release from December 1978, Blue Morning, Blue Day. A rock song with Mick Jones's unmistakable riffs. Man, this is rock and roll gold to the whole rock community. Not in the eyes of the assholes at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame though.
Blue morning, blue day, won't you see things my way? Blue morning, can't you see? Daylight, alright, I don't know if it's real.
As mentioned in my Sticks video, success, money and drugs bring with them tensions and paranoia. At this point, Mick Jones, who created the band, was tightening his iron fist on the group for control. He was arguing with the drummer and generally pissing everyone off. Mick wanted the keys to the kingdom for himself, and sure, why not? He wrote the songs, along with Lou Gramm of course. Ahead of 1979's Head Games, Mick fired bassist Ed Gagliardi and brought in Rick Wills to replace him. This video isn't about getting into band politics though, it's about highlighting the successes. But the politics and its controversial sleeve cover may have had a hand in the 2 million decline in units sold for Head Games. Although not doing as well in sales as the previous albums, for me, the album's title track is one of the best in Foreigner's back catalogue. This is how you do this genre of rock, just right. On the back of the relative failure of Head Games and Mick and Lou's dissatisfaction, the band was streamlined again, this time down to 4 members. Mick, Lou, Dennis and Rick. Then came Foreigner 4, a rock masterpiece. Mick and Lou were firmly in control now of the band's direction. This focused, leaner lineup of the group for me created Foreigner's best album yet. The LP's name being a double meaning. 4 albums in and 4 members now, it is arena rock gold. Produced by the legendary Mutt Lange, the record contained heavy rock masterpieces like Jukebox Hero, timeless ballads like Waiting for a Girl Like You, and the sax-laden rock fusion like Urgent. Along with deep album tracks I'm Gonna Win and Don't Let Go, the record put the band back on top and sold millions of copies. The gamble worked. Simply perfection.
You're not shy. You get around. You wanna fly. Don't want your feet on the ground. You stay up. You won't come down. You wanna live. You wanna move to the sound. Got fire in your veins. I've gotta take a little time. A little time to think things over.
In 1984, they recorded Agent Provocateur in a studio full of a bounty of drugs and booze. It's here even Lou and Mick's relationship started to break down. Amongst it all though came the band's best known song, the power ballad I Want to Know What Love Is, a track that finally brokered their first US #1 hit. But it didn't necessarily do them any favours with the Rock Hall.
I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me.
They wouldn't release another album for 3 years, and in that time Lou Gramm embarked on a solo career with January 1987's Ready or Not, scoring a top 5 hit with its lead single, Midnight Blue. Meanwhile, Jones turned to producing, like for example Van Halen's record 5150 in 1986. They did reunite though for the group's 6th record, Inside Information, in Christmas '87. It would be the last record with this quartet lineup and reached top 15 on the US chart. Rock had changed a bit in the mid-80s though, and since Agent Provocateur, things were a little different on the scene. Having said that, 2 of the album's singles, Say You Will and I Don't Want to Live Without You, were both top 10 hits. They still had it.
And if you do, why don't you say you will, say you won't? Make up your mind tonight. Say you do, say.
After Inside Information, tensions again flared, culminating in Lou leaving and Jones bringing in a new singer, Johnny Edwards, for 1991's Unusual Heat, a commercial failure. Look, you just can't have Foreigner without Lou Gramm, that's a fact. He did return though for 1994's Mr. Moonlight, but it was too late and the momentum was lost. The record didn't chart. I would recommend its lead single White Lie though, which is prime Foreigner material. Lou's versatility vocally knows no bounds. Since then, Lou has suffered major ill health, but thankfully he has recovered. For many years he and Jones were estranged, but they have seemed to struck a common ground in recent years. Jones rebuilt the group over the last decade and a half with Kelly Hansen on lead vocals. As good as this is, it's not quite Foreigner for me, even if Lou did rejoin them on stage for a few shows in the last couple of years. Foreigner are Mick, Lou, Rick and Dennis at the very least, and it's these people, this Foreigner, who the Rock Hall should wake up to and induct Foreigner already. I'm curious though guys, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.